We are, yes, Chair.
Right. Okay. Would you prefer that I wait another 5 minutes just to see if we can get some more people coming in?
If you just give me a couple of moments, I'm just going to start the live broadcast. So that's just going to take me a minute or so. And
That's fine. Okay.
You can start whenever you want, Chair.
Are you still up in Scotland, Chairman?
Well, I'm back in Scotland. We came back on Saturday evening, but I should probably be going down into Cumbria again later this week, and certainly down next week.
Very good. Very good.
So,
yes.
Yes.
Okay, we are now live, Chair.
Weather. We've had very nice weather.
Yes, it's nice to see good weather, isn't it? Right.
Nomadland was the big winner of this year's Oscars, taking 3 awards, including Best Picture and Best Director for Chloe Zhao. But Anthony Hopkins became the only
We're now waiting for Misbah to tell us when she's set up the live broadcast arrangements.
Chair, just to let you know, we are now live. So if you want to start the meeting.
We're now live, are we? Okay, thank you very much indeed. Welcome to everybody this morning to our SACRE meeting. And if we could start, Misbah, with apologies for attendance or non-attendance today. Can you tell me who we had apologies from?
Thank you, Chair. Okay. Okay, so we have
Sorry.
So we have apologies from County Councillor Steen.
Right.
Keith Pennington.
Right.
Alan Gillies.
Yes.
And Lisa Fenton.
Thank you. Okay. Do we know of any other apologies that any members are able to mention? Right. At this point in the meeting, just before we proceed to the minutes of the last meeting, I want to mention something which I shall mention again at the end of this meeting with the last item, and that is that the National Association of SACREs, NASACRE, of which Lancashire is a member, holds an annual conference. It's normally a face-to-face conference, but this year it will be a virtual conference, and that is to take place on the 25th of May. It has been normal practice for me as chair, or the chair before me, and Alison as officer to the SACRE to attend that meeting. This year, Alison won't be available to virtually attend it. I intend virtually attending it. And there is the capacity for, I think, is it another 3 members to be in virtual attendance. And I'm not expecting an immediate response now from members to say, oh, I would like to be in on that. It's the 25th of May and will be a commitment between about 10 o'clock and I think about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But there are some significant speakers and there is significant workshop attendance in a virtual capacity on that day. So you may wish to give it some thought, and I shall mention it again as the last item. And then if you think that you might be up for that, is it appropriate, Misbah, if members approach you, or should they approach Alison?
That's absolutely fine, Chair. People can let me know. Yeah,
if they can let you know. Okay. But I thought if I gave notice of it now, then you can give it some thought. And if I remind you at the end, it's more likely to be something that if you were to have an interest in that, then you'd be more likely to remember it. Very good. We go to the minutes of the last meeting held on the 1st of February.
Chair, just before you go to the minutes, sorry, we have a new member on the Lancashire SACRE, and I think County Councillor Yusuf Matala would like to introduce them.
Very good, that's fine.
We have a new member. I'm sure you've seen his profile, and that's Ahmed James, who's joined us today.
Right.
Which is, I'm really happy that we've got the extra individuals that we've managed to get hold of, that we've been chasing up for some time. So
that's excellent. Right, thank you very much indeed. Well, welcome to the SACRE, and you will find that some of the workings of SACRE may seem arcane from time to time, but I hope that in due course you will realise what our mutual purpose is, and that anything we can do to support the best practice of religious education in our schools and the understanding of the place of religious education in the development of society for all our young people is our principal goal. So welcome to Lancashire SACRE. Okay, if we move on to the minutes of the last meeting, first of all, if you actually attended that, would you check that your name was recorded on the minutes as having been present? Because we've had occasions in the past when people have been missed off.
I'll move, Chairman.
Thank you.
The minutes.
Thank you.
happy to second.
Thank you very much, County Councillor Cheetham and County Councillor Matala. So I don't think we have any particular matters arising from those minutes. And so we move on to item 3, which is the Lancashire SACRE Development Plan. And Alison, I would like to ask you to lead on this, please, at this stage, because I know that you've got, it's in effect our main item of business this morning.
Yes, well, as you know, we have a development plan. We sort of forgot about it during lockdown.
I think you're frozen for a moment, Alison. We'll wait. This is the difficulty with online meetings. We're reliant on the technology being perfect all of the time, and so we just have to be patient.
Just whilst we're waiting for
Yes.
Alison to come back to life,
Yes.
can I just ask our colleague who represents the Diocese of Blackburn if the Diocese of Manchester has also looked at our syllabus?
Is that something, Helen, that you're able to comment on?
Sorry, can I just clarify? You wanting a comment on whether or not I know if the Manchester Diocese has looked at the Lancashire Agreed syllabus?
I know you work together, you see, that's why I just wanted to...
We do work together as part of DB services, but Lancashire Agreed syllabus is locked down to Lancashire schools. So it would be inappropriate for me to share what's on the Lancashire Agreed syllabus. If Manchester Diocese were interested in the Lancashire Agreed syllabus, they would need to approach Alison, because that's the correct way forward. So they might ask me whether you're reviewing it, which I can comment on because it's a public meeting, but I can't comment on.
No, that was sheer curiosity, because I know that my colleague Peter Steen was querying this, and I'm really querying it on his behalf because we live in the Diocese of Manchester. Yes. Our particular borough comes under the Diocese of Manchester, which is Rossendale.
Okay.
I know we have others, you know, further up north of Lancashire, where there has also is a crossover occasionally. I'm very much aware that Blackburn are the lead on this, but I just wanted out, because I know we've had a change of Director of Education in Manchester, that was all.
Okay, so if you're asking me a question about Blackburn, the use of Blackburn Diocese RE materials with Manchester schools, yes, I can comment on that, but it's
Yeah,
probably
that was all.
Yeah.
That was just a query, Chairman, because I think Councillor Steen would have raised it had he been able to join us.
But so in answer to your question, I can't comment on anything that's happening with the Lancashire agreed syllabus, but I can comment on use of Blackburn Diocese Board of Education RE materials with other church schools across the North West partnership with DB services.
Thank you.
That would be more appropriate outside of the meeting.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Helen. Misbah, are we having any better success in raising Alison once again?
I'm just on the phone to Alison. If you just bear with me one moment, please.
That's fine. You take your time.
With the internet connection, I just won't be a moment.
Yeah.
Okay, Alison, do you want to try speaking?
Yes, Alison hasn't reappeared on my screen at all. But...
Chair, we're just trying to get Alison to speak through my phone. So I'm taking it you can't hear Alison.
At the moment, we can't hear Alison at
No.
all.
All right, no problem. No. What Alison's suggesting is that we start item 3 and we evaluate the development plan in groups. So if you just bear with me one moment, I'll just get some further instruction from her and then I'll be back with you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. This is where patience is a virtue.
Peter, can I just come in here?
Yes.
Rather than wasting any time, I was going to bring it up in any other business.
Certainly, sure.
What we've done is through the society, we produced a guidebook for school children visiting the temple, and we were supported through the Awards for All. So basically, it's a guide for children to come to the center. And the booklet is yeah. I'll just
I see. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
We hope to launch it just before end of the summer, with inviting 1 or 2 of the schools who regularly come. We have St. Stephen's School next door.
Yes. And
we're hoping to, if the date is confirmed and everything is okay after 19th of June, then we'd like to send you an invite as well to be present at this launch. So
thank you very much.
Just letting you know.
I would, for both you and for Harsha, I was approached by the Hindu Education Board for some information about whether we had any representation of Hinduism on our SACRE, and I responded, and I think Misbah will have been in touch with you, Harsha. Am I correct? You've not heard anything, right? Well, I'll make sure that something happens in respect of that. But I responded to them that we did have good representation of Hinduism on our SACRE, because apparently there are parts of the country. Yes.
Yeah. Can I just give you the background that the
Yes.
Hindu Education Board was formed recently with a different organization, and they just wanted to make sure that all the SACREs everywhere, the Hindu representatives are presented, and obviously they are connecting and contacting everybody. So
Yes.
that is a reason they want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
no, I'll talk to Ms. and sort it out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
Yes, sorry, Harsha, I need to speak to you about that, so I will do that.
Not a problem, Misbah.
Okay.
It wasn't an urgency.
No problem. So, Chair, just to let you know, Alison is trying to get back onto the call. She's just struggling without internet at the moment. If we move on to item 3, which is the Lancashire Development Plan, What we have here is the 2018-20 development plan, which will it's been updated, and this will form the next steps of the 2021-23 development plan. What Alison was hoping to do this morning was for us to break out into breakout rooms and for us to look at the objectives and the evaluation of 1, 2 and 3, so objectives 1, 2 and 3, and then she was hoping we could evaluate 4 and 5. So in our little groups, if one person could then feed back to the main group. So we have done this in the past with the development plan, where we've broken out into breakout rooms and or well in the committee rooms we've done this. So it's just looking at the actions, the tasks in terms of the milestones and where we're up to. It's color coded. Hopefully everyone will have seen a copy of that. So does that sound okay in terms of
yes, because the 3 sections that we're looking at are the first one, which is raising standards and really teaching and learning, and the second one is monitoring and evaluation. Alison, welcome back.
Oh dear.
Technology.
I don't know how long I'm going to be here for, but
well, right.
Alison, I was just explaining what you mentioned. I don't know if it's probably better if you want to just quickly go through it yourself as well in terms of the development plan, because we were busy talking about other things. So
well, I thought we could perhaps go into breakout rooms, which we've never done before, which is exciting. And you could discuss or have a look at the evaluations I've done, first of all, to see whether you agree with them and whether you're getting a feel for where we are and what we need to do next. And then targets 4 and 5, which are really to do with SACRE more. I can't really evaluate those. Whether you would have a go at evaluating those in your groups and perhaps coming up with next steps. And then identifying one person in the group to feed back when we come back together. And then I could perhaps, if people wanted to make some notes and email them to MISPA, I could then colour code the rest of them and finish the document off for next time, and then write the new document. So you've got a new development plan for the next 2 years. Does that make sense?
That does make sense, yes. Alison, there are the 3 areas. I was just trying to introduce this in a very amateurish way, saying that the 3 areas that we're looking at are the raising standards, which is really teaching and learning, at monitoring and evaluation, and at collective worship. Those are really the 3 areas, aren't they?
Well, those are the areas I've evaluated.
Yes. Yep.
But I haven't evaluated target 4 and target 5.
No, that's the management of the SACRE and RE and social and community cohesion. Right. So how are we best going to divide people up for this? Is this a task that we give to Ms. Byrne to do the division?
I can do it automatically, unless you have any preference in terms of what kind of group you want to go into, which one you want to evaluate. I think that'll probably be a bit more complicated, but however you want us to do it, we can do it. It might just take us a few moments, but I think me and Alison, we had a quick discussion and we were planning to just divide groups automatically. I think once we've done that, we then need to decide. I think perhaps if we assign one objective to a person each, and then we can make sure that we're all evaluating. Are we all evaluating each target separately, or Alison, did you want everyone to look at all the targets?
Well, I thought everybody should discuss all of it, really.
Fine.
Right, that's okay.
That'll make it easier.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 18 of us online, so what I will do...
Sorry, Helen, you were wishing to say
I
something?
was going to say, past protocol has been that you've put us into the groups that we represent, so, but as in the Church of England and etc., the professional bodies to do this work, but if you want to do us randomly, that's fine. I was just pointing out, in the past, that's the way you've done it.
I think that is, if it's something which becomes a matter of voting, then you are voting in your committee or grouping. But I think for this purpose, it may well be more useful to have a cross-discipline approach to it. So Misbah, are you going to do this automatically now?
I'm going to do it automatically, and I'm going to create 4 breakout rooms. So there's 18. So minus me and Garth, that would be 4 per group. So let's. Give
Very
me a
well.
moment and I'll
We can only see how it works. Right.
Okay, just 1 second. Okay, so in room 1, I'll just quickly go through it and then I will create the room. So we've got County Councillor Cheetham, Caroline, Ishwar and Julie. In room 2, Helen, John, Sajda and Councillor Matala. In room 3, Ahmed, Harsha, Peter and Robert. And room 4, Alison, Joan, Kathleen and Peter. Does that seem okay?
Very well.
So I'm going to open the rooms now. Alison, if we say 15, 20 minutes, how long do you want to?
Yes, that's good.
And then what I'll do is I will bring everyone back just after 22 then.
Which are they discussing? Which point, which group is it discussing? All are both of them?
All, I think Alison wants you to discuss all points.
But really, you're focusing on priorities 4 and 5 because they're particularly to do with the work of the SACRE.
So we start with 4 and 5, and
I
then we
would
come back to review what you've commented on 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Right, that's fine.
Okay, so you should hopefully receive an invitation to join the breakout room.
Right.
Okay, we should hopefully all be back.
Welcome. Welcome back. Right. Thank you, Misbah, for managing that.
No problem. Just to let you know,
Very well
Chair,
done.
Right,
Julie,
okay.
Julie's no longer with us. She had internet connection problems, so she was apologising.
And our new member has had to leave because he has an appointment, hospital appointment
Okay,
to attend.
no problem. Thank you, Chair.
So, okay, Misbah, would you like to take the groups in order and take their comments back in order?
Yes, please. So if we start off with group 1, which would have been Caroline's group. So I don't know who was the
Caroline was.
person to
Shall I,
lead back there.
shall I speak?
Yes, please.
My group for them. How do you want me to just do this? Shall I just point out the things that we picked up that we thought we were good with and the target areas?
I think so.
Yeah, we started just looking at 4 and 5. We were quite pleased actually with 4 most of it, but we just wanted to catch up with the contacts from different faith representatives to just renew and just check where we were up to with all the different representatives. And we identified a new representative for Sikhism to be approached. So that mostly green, but just need to just check up. We felt the work with academies, again, a little bit more, we are going well as far as we understood, and we send them the newsletter and we do have contacts, but again, we thought that a little directed action plan to get contacts with the academies to promote the syllabus and perhaps to get an academies representative on SACRE. 4.3 we were very, very pleased with, and we liked and can remember when we've had speakers that have spoke to us, and that's something to continue to do. 4.4, in principle, we have done it, but the youth voice again has just been put to one side and is another project to pick up. And 4.5, building positive relationships with the teacher training organisations. That's going well. There's good links with different universities and providers. We wondered also, after having met some of the students from Edge Hill, whether to also invite young teachers as part of the youth voice, because a lot of these are 21, 22-year-olds and younger. Those, that also they've got an interest in RE and might be able to give us join in the youth voice. Key priorities for 5, we've covered most of that into green, and we're very happy with it was going. But we did note that we don't make the most of the contacts in Preston, the contacts we have with a good range of different faiths, because we have more religious diversity in the central areas of Lancashire. So we wondered whether to turn some attention there with our interfaith projects. And another really good point that we noticed that different groups have worked together really well over this COVID period, and we wanted to try and keep that going through the links that we've managed to make across different religious and communities groups. And we so somehow to keep the networks going and sort of have celebrations when we're through it, through everything, but don't let everything just sink back and people sort of retreat back into their own communities after there's been a lot of breakthrough with bringing communities together. So that was the only point that we've got there. With Prevent, we noticed that it hasn't really been on the agenda that much at all. So perhaps we need to just have a look again at that. I think a lot of that was, this is where we didn't quite finish off, but we've mostly got things in yellow, and then again we've got a project there, a community project to take forward in an action plan, and that's as far as we managed to discuss.
Thank you very much indeed, Carolyn.
Okay, so if we move to group 2, so that was the group with Helen in it. Helen, I'm not sure if you can.
Yeah, I can go for this. Thanks, Carolyn, because that's given a really good, interesting view. I was looking at our responses when I was looking at yours, so I'll try and make some different comments, but I think we're really reasonably in tune with what you had to say. We red, ambered and greened ours because old habits die hard with me, and I'm sorry about that. So looking at 4.1, we felt, that the first bullet point was possibly a yellow because, you're exploring what's happening with regard to members from the Sikh community. There was a discussion as how the approach is done. And I was just reflecting that with one SACRE, which I sit on, they'd been slightly reprimanded by a body because they hadn't gone to the national education lead for a name of a representative first. They've gone to the local, even though the national will then go to the local. So there was just a discussion around that, which I just wanted to reflect that we'd had on that. The agreed procedures was an action point, we felt, because we got that as read, because that looked like, yes, you do take non-attendance into account and it is recorded, but actually how that's then followed up is possibly an area to be explored further. We looked at meeting venue varying. Well, that you can't really comment on that because we've been entirely Zoomed, but normally we would do that. So we put a comment in about outside of COVID times, it would be agreeing on that well with the agendas. 4.2, we felt was more of a yellow because we feel sure that this is done, but we weren't confident that we've seen evidence of all of that. So that was a yellow for that. Green for 4.3. 4.4, youth voice. Well, obviously the impact of that and actually getting young people out of school is always going to be an issue. So perhaps the action point for that was using virtual representation, using the tool of Zoom. Even if we are meeting in a physical sense, we could still ensure that we get pupil voice that way captured and fed into our development plan and our actions going forward. 4.5, agreed totally with what Carolyn was saying on that. Just local access, schools accessing events and training opportunities. We felt that in recent history, you cannot comment on that because that's been impacted via Zoom, via COVID. And my question was, how much opportunities have been made available during this time that could have been done virtually, which was that comment on that. And perhaps looking at a virtual training opportunities going forward, because that's one of the things that anecdotally I gave evidence on that have been really well attended during the recent lockdowns. Going into the first action on 5, we felt that the top part was the green, the identify and provide bullet points, but the D devise an induction programme. The comment to that was enhancing this work further had been interrupted by COVID. We felt it was underway, but it had been interrupted. Next bullet points down on prevent, we agreed with what Caroline said that was a red because we weren't sure that was where that was and how that was. Engaging schools, more schools we felt was a yellow because obviously that's been interrupted, and hosting events, but that was something that we knew had been taking place but had been interrupted. And the same with the final bullet points that were under develop and sustain primary and secondary school links. How that was going to be done going forward was possibly, again, something that learning through the difficulty that teachers have getting out, meeting together, that actually using online platforms would be an aid going forward. Here ends the voting from the second group. Sorry, no, I'm not on that. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Helen. So group 3 was Harsha's group. Harsha, I don't know if you're happy to feedback or anyone else from your group. You're on mute, Harsha.
Harsha's mute.
Sorry, Peter and Robert, correct me if I'm wrong, I'll try. I think we were talking about how the SACRE meetings are represented in how is the action and what is it been going on. And I think I said that because I have been in a longer serving SACRE member, I find that meeting and everything has been conducting well, information is being shared properly, and also every member's viewpoint has been taken into the consideration and everything. But another member was saying that sometimes being the SACRE meeting goes a bit more longer and it's more waffly because it's not time limit is being not adhere to it. And Zoom idea is quite good with that. Maybe agenda should have points explained. So then if there is agenda, then people know what they're expecting and how would they like to comment on it. So if it is a timed agenda, then that's what with the 4.1. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have I missed anything, Peter?
No, I think that's fine. The structure of the meeting, possibly to include some social time to make sure that we can meet with other people whom otherwise we wouldn't come across very frequently. But to make sure that we have some meetings simply by Zoom, even at the point where we're able to resume having face-to-face meetings, because it's good management of time for members. Right, okay. Do you want to carry on, Harsha?
Right, okay. 4.2 was that how the building the relationship, positive relationship with academic and Lancashire. I wasn't aware about it, but we thought we will check the number with the Ellison, that how they are communicating, because of being academics, they are not, should I say, adhere to following the SACRE, or how are they working on it. So that's our understanding was that. So we thought we will check it with Ellison to see what is the progress for that and how are we having a partnership with the academics. And then 4.3 was that we are doing the provision for is that, faith belief is there through the Burnley and building bridges. SACRE is there, area can teach us. But I think apart from that, it is difficult to have the engagement because we don't have a faith, what is it called? Faith
coordinator.
Faith coordinator. So we are struggling to make the connection with that. So that is the partnership with the key local and national stakeholders. So apart from this, it's a bit of difficult to get more information from that. 4.4 was that, again, because of pandemic and everything, it has been slowed with 18 months. So it was a good progress with the Joanne, with the school and everything, but because of pandemic, we can't get access to that. 4.5 was a University of Cumbria is there, University of Edge is there, but University of Lancaster, not sure how are they with us or not. And somebody mentioned that we need to have proper survey to find out that how we can engage, or what people are, which group is missing, and what can we, how can we approach and how can we get connected to them. Am I right in saying, Peter, have I missed anything?
Yes, I think that you're actually there going on to 5.5 rather than 4.5, are you?
Sorry.
Yes,
sorry.
I think so.
Can you correct me then if I'm wrong?
Yeah. But we were concerned that much teacher training is now taking place actually in schools, and how we best engage with those who are leading on that, to ensure that we have a dialogue, if possible, with all aspects of teacher training that in respect of RE. And obviously that this is being led by Edge Hill and University of Cumbria, but what actually takes place in the amount of time that people in teacher training are now spending in schools, we perhaps need to speak with people who are overseeing that within the schools, if we possibly can. That was going to 5.5, but going back to the elements in objective 4, or key priority 4, should I say, the possibility of increasing pupil voice through the use of Zoom, which is a technology that few people were fully aware of before the pandemic came in. Since Zoom is now an everyday tool that many people use, I think it should be possible to have more access to a pupil voice, to more engagement with a pupil voice using that. I'm hoping that will happen. Sorry, Harsha, I don't wish to take...
No, I think go ahead, because obviously I've mixed up the points. That's why I'm just trying my best, so I'm sorry if I made a mistake.
Robert, are there other things that you would want to bring in? No. Okay.
Thank you very much, Peter and Harsha. That's lovely. And the final group we had was Joan's group, so Joan and Alison. So whoever wants to feedback from that group, please.
Yeah, I think I've been delegated
Thanks,
that
Peter.
one. So apologies if for my my ignorance of some things which are perhaps historical for SACRE, as I've not been associated for very long, but I'll do my best. 4.1 on representation, recognising the lack of SEEK representation, and I did offer to approach both the Gurdwaras in Preston, but Helen's point about we need to go through national first. I might need a bit of guidance on that. Attendance process, yeah, it might be in place, but it's not actually working. So that needs tightening up. The other two, yeah, that's fine in terms of people contributing and the varying of locations. 4.2 on academies, we felt that was pretty well read, as the database might be there, but the communication and the engagement isn't happening. 4.3, that's fine. Yeah, we think SACRE is well connected in. 4.4, echoing what Peter's just said, and Helen also said, the potential for using online platforms to engage youth voice, you know, yeah, huge potential there. And 4.5 on the teacher training and the universities, we actually were a bit radical there. Thought, is this actually a realistic objective for SACRE at this point, or is it something that we recognise it's very much on the lower down the list of priorities for the time being? On 5, yeah, the 5 point, although these actually numbered, but the first one, yeah, we can say that's as green as it could be, because that training did take place before COVID. I was actually personally involved in some of that training for volunteers. So people have been trained, DBSs have been done. Sajda hopefully can back me up on this, but we haven't got to the point of people sort of being regularly into schools for obvious reasons. The second one, prevent, wondering whether that now falls out of SACRE's remit because of the alteration of Afrasiab's role. And the third and fourth ones, faith coordinator, again, that was Afrasiab, whose role has changed, but with Sajda and myself being on the trustees of Building Bridges and Afrasiab being the chair of Building Bridges, we should be able to clarify that relationship between SACRE, what Afrasiab is doing now, and Building Bridges. So I'd say an action there would be for that clarification to be achieved. That's all from me.
That's very helpful. Thank you very much, Peter. We have quite a lot of comments in there, and Alison, is it fair to say that that really gives us some meat to start working on for the next development plan?
Yes, I've been writing things down as you've been feeding back. I can have a go at RAG rating key priority 4 and writing down the next steps. And I can have a go for the July meeting and actually fleshing together a new SACRE development plan, if you like. I was talking to Peter, and because Afrasiab's role has changed, and because Target 5 generally sits with Building Bridges and Afrasiab, we wondered whether that particular target could be discussed by Building Bridges, and you could maybe evaluate where you are yourselves in terms of developing that communication, that community cohesion on behalf of Lancashire. I didn't know whether you wanted to look at that section yourselves and just clarify it within your organisation. And then we could contribute and add that into the SACRE development plan. The other thing that we discussed, which is a bit radical, is thinking about involving SACRE members. It's a really good idea about having some online forum for pupils to feed into to develop youth voice. But I didn't know whether somebody on the SACRE wanted to take that on as some sort of project to coordinate that, because I have little capacity with trying to tie together the Lancashire Agreed syllabus and to rewrite the collective worship materials. So that's not going to happen from me anytime soon. But I just wondered whether that was something that moving forward, somebody wanted to have a greater role in. Because I know it's something that you all feel is really very important. That's all I wanted to say. But yes, for the July meeting, I can completely evaluate it, get something back from Building Bridges, hopefully, and then present a new development plan for the next 2 years for you to look at and to finalise and agree.
Thank you very much, Alison. Just going back to the key priority 5, given that Prevent is a programme associated with radicalisation in general, it has to be the question, is that properly the business of the SACRE?
There is a really big Prevent response in Lancashire. It is a really robust, thorough department that Afrasiab is involved in.
Yes.
But that now doesn't sit with the SACRE. It sits within the EAL-GRT department. Yeah. So actually Lancashire is very robust around Prevent. I can easily get some materials and put them on the website, but it doesn't really sit with my role.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that I think that it is in effect a programme associated with community which is not properly within the remit of SACRE.
Yes, yeah. I think Helen's got a hand.
Helen.
You're absolutely right. It's where we've normally looked for those links, has been within the materials, where those being addressed within the worship materials, within the agreed syllabus materials. And that's what we've highlighted previously on the website, Alison, if that's helpful at all, to give a statement which says that, and that it links to an overarching policy held by the LCC.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very useful. Right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for your contributions to this morning's discussion. And if you feel that what you have said in your discussion wasn't fully represented, you could have the opportunity to forward any comments that you have to MISPA, which she could forward to Alison, or indeed direct to Alison for that matter, for inclusion in the upgraded or updated development plan, draft development plan that she'll bring forward at the next stage in July. And our meeting in July is on the, I'm trying to think what the date is.
On the 5th of July, Chair.
5th of July, that's right.
Sorry,
yeah.
Can I just add, Helen sent me, she's kindly sent me through some notes of the discussions that her groups had this morning. If anyone else has any notes, even if you just take a picture of it and email it across, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, that would be a good way of collating the material together. Thank you very much indeed, Vespa. Is there anything further we need to say about the development plan at this stage then, Alison? No. Okay. Well, thank you very much indeed for that discussion. So we move on to item 4, the agreed syllabus conference feedback. For any of you who are newer to the SACRE, the agreed syllabus conference is a group of SACRE members representing each of the 4 divisions or committees on the SACRE who have responsibility for oversight of a review of the syllabus every 5 years. And this is happening during this year with a view to having a revised syllabus in place for September. And the group has been meeting already to do some work on this, but it's really in the hands of education, RE professionals to do the real spade work. Alison, would you like to lead on this now?
In terms of the update for collective worship, the QSS met and we had quite a good discussion around that.
Yes.
We looked through all of the mirrors and doors materials, and we identified.
You're talking now about item 5 and not about item 4.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
Oh,
sorry. Because
sorry.
I'll tell you why. Because I was trying to respond to Sajda in a message at the same time. Sorry, Sajda.
Sorry. Can we,
well, agreed syllabus conference. I didn't know whether somebody else wanted to comment on that because I know Lisa did last time. We're cracking on with it. We've just got the Key Stage 3 materials to finish. And then it will go to the printers on the 11th of June. I've agreed with them.
So that is good progress, really. And the grouping is meeting again. I'm trying to think, in May, isn't it? We have another meeting.
It's in June, yes.
Is it in June that we're meeting? Yes. That's right, yes. Yeah. Right. Okay, thank you. You can now move on to collective worship.
Sorry, Chair, can I just interrupt? Alison, did you want to ask for feedback on some of the religious content? I know Lisa had mentioned that she would she still needs to get back to you on the Christianity content of the syllabus, and I think we'd asked maybe harsher for Hinduism, and I don't know whether you'd managed to get anybody for Islam.
I haven't got anybody for Islam, no, so that's something that I was going to ask maybe Afrasiab if nobody wanted to volunteer.
Harsha was wishing to make a comment.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I have got ready and I will just link with Alison and then make it correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
Helen's got a hand up as well, Chair.
Yes, Helen.
Hi, I don't know, Alison, whether you were given my apologies. I did send them with regard to both those meetings because I had severe shingles, so wasn't in any, and I'm recently back into work. It was just that Lisa said that some materials would be coming my way to look at, but I just wanted to register that I haven't had anything yet. So if you don't need me for that, that's fine. But if you did and you sent them, I haven't had them. So just needed to let you know. For Key Stage 3.
Oh, I see. Yes, because we haven't finished those yet.
So
we have written them for Islam, but we don't have the Christianity and the Hinduism ones completed yet for Key Stage 3. They're all there for Key Stage 1 and 2. But when the whole lot was completed, I could send them to the various different people all in one go.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well,
yeah.
let me know what you need.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Alison. Right, you're going to speak about collective worship.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, as I said, we had a good QSS, didn't we, meeting about collective worship. We looked through all the mirrors and doors materials, identified any errors and things that just needed to be updated, like dates and things like that. We also looked at a few examples from other authorities, and we basically thought that the mirrors and doors materials are pretty sound as they are, but we did identify that we needed to add in 3 particular things to bring them up to speed. And one was around the use of invitational language to ensure that they were fully inclusive. The other one was to develop the role of pupils in leading, planning and monitoring worship, and having a greater involvement in terms of pupils, and also including eventually some examples from other schools. We noticed that some other authorities have some starting points, some models for schools. So if you're really not so sure how to plan and deliver a collective worship, there are some examples there that other schools are using to get you going. We've just got to amend them now. So that's a summer holiday job for me.
Right, okay. Yeah. That's helpful. Thank you very much. Do we have an update from Building Bridges Burnley? Is Sajda going to speak to this?
Yes, hello, hi. Yeah, I mean, there's not much that's been happening, obviously, because of the situation we're in. Yeah. But just to give you an update anyway, we now have 38 schools that we're just carrying over now because of the situation that we've been in. Yeah. If they haven't had the visits, we've carried them over. So we've got 38 from 1920. We did manage to still get 6 schools signed up for 2021. So in total, we've got 44 schools that are signed up. There's not been obviously many visits, but we still managed to do 8 between September and up to date, and those have been on Zoom. So what we're doing now is obviously seeing if there's any bookings that come in post that date of June. Otherwise, we'll restart again in September, all being well. That's where we're at, really.
Very good. Well, we're indebted to you for all the endeavours that Building Bridges Burnley is achieving so far. We haven't. Are there any other comments about building bridges, Burnley? Anything from Peter? Peter Lumsden, did you have anything to comment in respect of building bridges?
Just to say, I think that we've just appointed a new near neighbours coordinator, which will further strengthen the building bridges activity, and there will be some interaction between what the near neighbours programs and schools work, I'm sure. So that will support SACRE further, I hope.
Thank you very much. Right. Could we move to Lancashire Youth Voice? Well, there's been a good deal of comment about what we might be able to do now in the future through Zoom, but there's nothing else, is there, further, Alison, in respect of Youth Voice? No, I thought not. Do we have any correspondence of note, Misbah?
No, Chair, no. I don't.
No, okay. Do we have any members' news? Nothing that anybody.
Yeah, we've just.
Yes, sure.
Peter, just to let you know that the lockdown at the Gujarat Centre, we've been able to allow worshippers to do the private prayers and also do the celebration, obviously under strictest guidance of doing test and trace, and also face masks. So obviously we are now beginning to see members trickling in, but there's nobody allowed to congregate for any big meetings, just purely for prayer purposes. And the celebration is all via Zoom. So all the facilities at the moment for the last 12 months has been on the Zoom. But it has been good that people have been able to keep up the contacts and be in touch with the membership. We're hoping that once the 17th of May ease down comes, we're probably able to start our luncheon club.
Yes, some more opening up. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
majority of members are taking the vaccination, which is good, and I've had my second vaccination yesterday.
Very good. Okay, well, onward and upward then.
Yeah.
Very good. Is there any other members' news that people wish to share?
I think I just mentioned before, Peter, about the guidebook, which we published. And as I said, late June, we hope to fix up a date with the next door school to do the launch. And obviously, we'd like some members of the SACRE to be present at the launch so that it gets some recognition and also publicity through the SACRE network that this book is now available for children.
Just as soon as you have a date, then it will be useful to share
I'll pass it forward to Misbah.
Through Misbah, yes.
And we'll get an invitation to all members of SACRE who wish to attend. And then the launch will be at the Gujarat Centre.
Gujarat Hindu Centre. Yes, okay. That's on
hopefully at the end of June.
Before
the school term finishes. I think it's 28th of June.
Yeah.
At the moment, I think I'm looking at 28th of June.
Right.
But I'll give her a date, fix the date with Misbah, and get that out now so that at least people have got it in their diary. And indeed is a Monday. 28 June is a Monday.
Right.
It's 11 o'clock.
Okay.
So if you can put that date in your diary. Also, Alison, if you're able to attend, we'd love to have you there.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
We'll send it to all the members.
Thank you very much, Isra.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we have any other members' news? Then it falls to me to say the date of the next meeting is the 5th of July, Monday the 5th of July. and to remind you of the invitation that I made right at the start, that if you would be interested in virtually attending the SACRE conference, which takes place on the 25th of May, then you should get in contact with MISPA and or Alison, and we can try to make arrangements for Lancashire to be properly represented at that virtual conference. Meanwhile, thank you very much for attending this morning's meeting, and I wish you all well and hope that you're able to join us once again. I'm sorry, Yusuf, you wanted to say something.
Sorry, I should have mentioned it actually.
Yes,
as you know, we don't know what's going to happen in May with the elections that are coming up. No. So there may be some members leaving. We don't know what's going to happen. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, we hope that that all goes well and that we have peace in the community as well through that time.
Right, Yusuf.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much indeed, everybody. Is there anything further we need to say, Misbah?
Thank you, Chair. That's everything.
We're all done, are we? Okay, many thanks, and God bless. Right.
Thank
you.
God bless.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Good to meet you again. All the best. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye.